Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Toils of the brave and the sweat of their labors. Toils of the brave which have brought results.
So we have called your attention to another editorial on COVID-19. It brings out something that's very significant. And it brings out something that we have been talking about that some people have not taken as seriously. But we think it's a very, very serious matter, a theme and a thesis that we have always been talking about this program. And it's about local business and enhancing local businesses and local banks supporting local businesses. That came clear to us yesterday. What happened in Accra yesterday was a direct expression of what we have been talking about. Let's begin from the globalization concept. So what COVID-19 has done, apart from destabilizing everybody's life, it has also thrown out a new theory relating to globalization and its opponent's thesis, ultranationalism. You know that globalization, which basically means that the whole world is a global village. We are connected to each other. Something happens in America and it has ramifications in Mauritania, in Wuhan, in Johannesburg, in Accra, Nigeria. Something happens in Morocco and it has effect in Italy, in Ireland, in England, etc. That's globalization because we are connected. We are all connected as one small village based on technology and all of that. So that's globalization. And so when we talk about globalization, we talk about together working to save our earth. And so we design protocols that check, for instance, pollution for all of us, etc., etc. Then the opponent of globalization is a theory called ultranationalism, which is criticized by many civil societies. So ultranationalists are thought to be people who are thinking about their country only. So U.S. President Donald Trump is criticized for being an ultranationalist. He talks about America for America first and America for Americans. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is thought to be an ultranationalist. He championed Brexit, Britain for British people, all of that. So the opponent of, or the antithesis to the theory of globalization is ultranationalism. What COVID-19 has done is that it has brought in one context globalization and ultranationalism, where they will never be in the same context. Today, they are in the same context, and I'll explain why. So COVID-19 began in Wuhan in China, and then it spread across all the world in a few months. That's globalization. Something happens in Wuhan, and it affects everyone because we are connected. We are traveling across the world. We are using the same airplanes. We are used to having the same lifestyle, and we're doing the same things, and all of that. We are touching each other, and so it spreads. Then the approach to dealing with this matter is ultranationalism. Every nation is looking after its own concerns. So people are closing down their airports, they are closing down their seaports, they are telling nationals to return home. Yesterday, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged all Britons to return home. So that's ultranationalism. Every country in the world is using the similar principles to disinfect its country and to protect its citizens. The question that came very raw to me when I walked out at the 5BN headquarters on the morning of Monday at 4 a.m., and I was looking at the soldiers, and I was looking at the Zoomlion people, and I was looking at the chairman of the Zoomlion group, Dr. Japan, on the ground at that time, and I wondered, if Ghana didn't have a sanitation company, a company well developed to present a sanitation solution, what would we have done? If our sanitation was on an Austrian company, they would have gone back to Austria. By now, they won't be here. They'll shut down, go to Austria, because Austria is going to call for them to come. If our company was Italian, they'll shut down, they'll go back to Rome. If our sanitation company was reliant upon England or a British company doing that, they would have gone back to Britain. And talking about globalization and each country for itself, you saw what happened. China is currently blaming the Europe and United States that the United States did not come to their aid. China says the United States did not come to their aid when the coronavirus broke. Italy, one of the most hard-hit countries of this matter in the world and the hardest hit in Europe, have been calling for American military support for at least 3 weeks. It hasn't happened because every country is looking after itself. Every country is using its own resources to look after itself. So you can see that clearly. But here we are, over the last 10, 15 years, this man has been building a sanitation company. So when COVID-19 struck and ultranationalism became the solution, we were able to call upon within our own to come up and go and clean the markets. That's what we've been talking about. You see, if in this generation we don't grow local expertise in all the various aspects, what are we going to do? This is a wake-up call, and we saw the president meet with banks and tell the banks to support the local industry and the making of sanitizers in Ghana, because in Ghana we are importing everything. We know that already. So we are importing sanitizer, we are importing surface wipes, we are importing almost everything. Everything that is required to protect the human body from this, we are importing from other places. So it runs out and it's run out. So the president had this meeting, you see the photographs there, where he was talking to the banks to support. Now the banks he were talking to, how many of them were indigenous? So it makes us regret what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we had many indigenous banks. Today, the president mixed the banks, and how many are indigenous? The banks that are not indigenous, they're going to make a phone call to South Africa, to London, to Amsterdam, and to America, and say that His Excellency the President of Ghana has met with us. He wants us to do this. Should we do it? Headquarters is going to take the decision. The board of directors are going to take the decision. They're going to sit in a room in New York, and there'll be no Ghanaian there. There'll be nobody who is thinking about love for country, because the love for the country is there, but that country is not Ghana. So that's what we have to think about. We have to think about it seriously. I intend for all of us to think about this seriously. This is not time for partisanship. It's not propaganda. It's a serious matter, because we saw what happened on Monday. And the director of Zoomlion, Dr. Japan, was on the ground. He was right there at 4 a.m. That is love for country. That is nobility. If it was an Austrian company, they would be gone. But this was the Zoomlion company that we all know, that we can trust. We know some of them who work there. We know some of them who work there. Our relatives work there. We know them. We can feel them. And they have been doing this for a long time. So they went into the market, and hundreds of markets were cleaned yesterday, were disinfected yesterday. This is the point that we have been making, that let us support local companies. So if Zoomlion had done something wrong in 2018, and we decided that we're closing it down because it had done something wrong, and that we are not taking them through the process, the Auditor General has found something against Zoomlion. There was a court matter. The Auditor General has a preliminary victory. Zoomlion have gone on appeal to the Court of Appeal. They may win, they may lose. If they lose, they have to pay back the surcharge to the government. If they win, they will be fine, and the Auditor General will be vanquished. But the company should never be closed down. These are the kind of things we said, and we got into trouble with important people. You know who I'm talking about. We got into trouble with important people that don't collapse Ghanaian businesses. Once a Ghanaian business has risen up, don't collapse it. The other day, the Black Stars were looking for money. You know, it was Unibank that supported them. The foreign banks won't do that. They don't worry about Black Stars. There's nothing about love for country. So, not long, very short, the point we are making is that let us support and understand that building a local industry is building us. And let's not use politics to pull down a company. NDC company and MPP pulls it down, MPP company and NDC pulls it down. Let us not characterize the company by political parties. Yes, the individuals who lead the company, the entrepreneurs who form the company, they may have partisan political dimensions. Yes, they may have it, because they are human. They may like one president. They may not be friends with another president. They may be friends with a minister who becomes president. They may be friends with a vice president who becomes president, so they are his friend. But when that president is no more and another president comes, let us look at the company through the lenses of patriotism, that this is a Ghanaian company. If they have done something wrong, they can be taken through the process. But as we've said 1,000 times, let us not kill Ghanaian companies. Last Monday, we were all proud of ourselves. I saw a post on Facebook that says that finally Zoomlion have redeemed themselves. Everybody was proud of Zoomlion on Monday in Accra, and that's going to continue around the country. The Minister for Local Government is excited about it. The interministerial team on COVID is excited about it. This morning, the Information Minister talked about it. Every Ghanaian is excited that we have a company that can go into our markets and clean it. I'll end it here. Not much to say, but let us support our own companies and support our indigenous companies. Congratulations to the Zoomlion Group and to Dr. Sian Ajapon. More grease to your elbow.
What is on the sound? Well done to all of you. We've been awake since early part of this morning, around midnight. We've been detailed, we've been briefed. What is left is the execution. And I know by your hard work and dedication and professionalism, you You are not going to lose your gas and let yourself down. Go out there and behave professionally the way we have briefed you and the way we expect of you. We shall be with you in the field. We shall visit you at every corner that you find yourself. Remember, you are not working alone. You belong to a proud army. You belong to a proud organization. Your leaders are with you. Your sole leaders are with you. The whole nation is behind you. Go and do a professional job and bring pride to yourselves and our army and our armed force. Everything has been arranged. There's nothing to worry about. I wish you well, and we shall be with you in the field. May the good Lord be with all of you. Thank you very much.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Toils of the brave.